ਏਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦਿ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਏਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦਿ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਏਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦਿ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਏਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦਿ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਗਿਆਨ ਧਿਆਨ ਕਿਛ ਕਰਮ ਨਾ ਜਾਣਾ ਨਾਹਿਨ ਨਿਰਮਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਕੈ ਅੰਚਲ ਲਾਭਹੁ ਵਿਖਮ ਨਦੀ ਜਾਇ ਤਰਨੀ ਗਿਆਨ ਧਿਆਨ ਕਿਛ ਕਰਮ ਨਾ ਜਾਣਾ ਸਾਰ ਨਾ ਜਾਣਾ ਤੇਰੀ ਸਭ ਤੇ ਵੱਡਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਨਾਨਕ ਜਿਨ ਕਲ ਰਾਖੀ ਮੇਰੀ तेरे जोर मैं गूंगा कहता हूँ तेरा सदका तेरी शरण
सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु साहिब जी साचा साहिब साच नाए भाख्या भाव अपार आखहे मंगहे देह देह दात करे दातार ਫੇਰ ਕੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਰੱਖੀਐ ਜਿਤ ਦਿਸੈ ਦਰਬਾਰ ਮੁਹਾਉ ਕੇ ਬੋਲਨ ਬੋਲੀਐ ਜਿਤ ਸੁਣ ਤਰੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਵੇਲਾ ਸਚ ਨਾਉ ਵਡਿਆਈ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਮੀ ਆਵੈ ਕੱਪੜਾ ਨਦਰੀ ਮੋਖ ਦਵਾਰ ਨਾਨਕ ਏਵੇ ਏਵੈ ਜਾਣੀਐ ਸਭ ਆਪੇ ਸਚਿਆਰ ਸਾਚਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਾਚ ਨਾਏ ਭਾਖਿਆ ਭਾਉ ਅਪਾਰ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਪਤਿਤ ਪਾਵਨ ਭਗਤ ਵਤਸਲ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਦੇ ਖਜ਼ਾਨੇ ਜੋਤ ਸਰੂਪ ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਸਾਜੀ ਨਵਾਜੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, we're gathered here today to share in the fourth pauri of Sri Japji Sahib. In the previous weeks, we've heard the description of Waheguru in the Mool Mantar. The Siddhs then begin their discussion, their questions, and they ask how their karma, how their actions, are they the way to find Waheguru, to become one with Waheguru, to be liberated. Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji told them that is only through the hukam, through understanding the command and following the command, that one's 5 evils, 5 vices, that one beats the 5 vices and controls them. Then the Siddhs asked about the extent of Waheguru Sahib Ji's power, and Sadguru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji described that power as being limitless. This week the Siddhs go further in their discussion and they understand that if Waheguru is all powerful, that they are like a king, because kings are all powerful. And so they begin their discussion asking about what type of king, what type of kingdom, how do they treat the people of their kingdom. And that's how they begin their discussion this week with Sadguru Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji.
Satnam Sri Waheguru Sahib Ji. Sacha Sahib Sach Nai. Bhakhya Bhau Apar.
So the Siddhs asked Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, what type of king is Waheguru? What type of master is Waheguru? If they are all powerful and this is their kingdom, then what type of king are they? Sadguru Sahib Ji says, Sacha Sahib. Sacha meaning the true, Sahib meaning master. They are the true master. How are they true? Other kings are born in this world and then they die. So their kingdom lasts in some cases for their life. In other cases they only last for a certain amount of time as they're defeated. So technically their kingdom, their mastery is not completely true because it comes to an end. But Akal Purkh Waheguru, their kingdom is Sacha. It's true in the past, it's true in the present, and will always be true in the future. So that is the ultimate truth, something that never finishes. Sacha Sahib. Sach Nai. And therefore, because their kingdom, their master, as they have their mastery, how they run the world, that is true, then their name is also true. Because their name, their Nai, is forever. So their name is true. So it reminds me of a Sakhi of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. After the Shaheedi of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, known as Miri Piri De Malik, became the 6th Guru of the Sikhs. They spent time with the Mughal king who was called Jahangir in Delhi for a certain period of time. Jahangir was a king, and when he saw Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, he was astonished. First of all, he was surprised because the previous 5 Gurus wore clothes, let's say saintly clothes. They look like saints. But the 6th Guru of the Sikhs looked like maybe a king, looked like a warrior, and that's why they were known as Miri Piri De Malik, the master of temporal power and spiritual power. They wore 2 kirpans, one on either side, each representing Miri and Piri. So they were astonished, and they spent some time with Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji in Delhi, and then along to Agra in the first few years of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji's time as the Guru. Now in that time, because they were warriors, they asked Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji to come hunting with them. Because kings, even in this day and age, take time and go hunting. Now for Sikhs, and why the Gurus went hunting, because when they went hunting, they would give that animal or the soul or the Ji in that animal salvation. One time when the Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji went hunting with Jahangir, a lion attacked. And that lion attacked Jahangir, and nobody was able to capture or kill that lion. But Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji actually, by themselves, when the lion attacked, using their shield, held them off, and then taking their Sri Sahib out, their kirpan, they killed that lion. Now, to us, that would look like, why was Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, why was Guruji attacking a lion? In fact, within that lion, as the Sakhi says, was a soul who Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji gave liberation to. And all the Gurus that went hunting, they would give liberation to the souls within those animals. And so there was a reason why they went hunting. Now, while they were with the Jahangir asked Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji that people call you Sacha Padshah, the true king. Why do they call you that? I'm interested. And Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji said that I don't ask people to call me that. Out of respect and Shraddha for the Gurgaddi, for Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji's Guruship, they give the Gurus that name. When Jahangir went back into their tent, as it were, when they were on this hunt, he asked his own guards to say, if there any Sikh arrives wanting to see Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, I would like you to bring them to me. Because the Sikhs of that area would come and do the darshan of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. Now there was a Sikh who was quite a poor Sikh, and actually what he used to do, he used to cut grass and sell it in the markets for people, for their horses, for their houses, for their animals to graze on. And what he did one day, he knew Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji was in that area. He cut the grass, he sold the grass for 1 silver coin. In Punjabi they call it a taka. And he brought that coin to where Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji and obviously Jahangir, the Mughal emperor, were travelling through Agra. At that point he asked to see the Sacha Padshah, the true king. And the guards of Jahangir brought that Sikh to Jahangir. And at the time, the Sikh who had never had the darshan of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji put the money down in front of Jahangir and matha teked, thinking that Jahangir was Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. The Sikh asked, Sadhguru Sahib Ji, please give me liberation. Even though I'm poor, I'm not asking you for money. I'm not bothered about money. I'm not bothered about materialistic things. I would like to be liberated. I would like to have your constant vision within myself. I would like to understand your hukam, all the teachings of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji. I would like Naam di Daat, Gur Sikhi di Daat. And Jahangir said, I can't give you any of those things, but what I can give you is I can give you a kingdom. I can make you a mayor of a town. I can give you some land. At that point that Sikh looked up and thought to himself, why is Guruji offering me these things? I'm actually here to be saved, to be liberated from the 8.4 million lives. And he asked Jahangir again, thinking that it was Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. Jahangir again replied, I can't really give you anything for the afterlife, but I can give you anything you would like in this life. At that point the Sikh realized that this could not be Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji and asked. And Jahangir introduced himself as Jahangir, the Mughal emperor. Even though that Sikh was very poor and he had no power, he picked up his silver coin, stood up and said, you are not the true king. You are not the Sacha Padshah. You don't have the true name. I want to meet that person. I want to do the darshan of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, the Sacha Padshah. And he left the tent of Jahangir. As he left the tent, he realized that Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, their stay was close by, and he went off towards where the Sikhs were staying. Jahangir followed. The Sikh found the place, the throne of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, and put that coin down and matha teked to Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji and begged for what they came for. Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji blessed that Sikh with the liberation, with Naam di Daat, Gur Sikhi di Daat. He gave them the spiritual things that they were asking for. Jahangir was watching this, and the next time they met Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, they asked Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, they said that Sikhs come to you, you are the Sacha Padshah, but he gave you a silver coin, and for that silver coin you gave liberation. Is that how cheap liberation is? Is that how cheap Sikhi is? Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji said, no, I didn't give him. He wasn't blessed for that silver coin. He was blessed for showing that contentment, that santokh, when he came into your tent and you offered him materialistic things, you offered him land, you offered him mayorships. That's why he became liberated. Because he realized what Sikhi, what this life was about. That's why I gave him liberation. That's why he was blessed with Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji's blessing. So at that point Jahangir realized why Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji was known as the Sacha Padshah, and the Gurus are all known as that. So that's why Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, all the 10 Gurus, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and Akal Purkh Waheguru, because they are the roop of Akal Purkh Waheguru on this world. That's why he realized, we should realize that Sadguru Sahib is Sacha Sahib, the true king, the true Malik, the true master. Sachanai, he has a true, his name is true as well, because if his kingdom is true, his name will be true, because he lasts forever. He will be with us all the time. So then the Siddhs asked, they said, if his name is true, his kingdom is true, then what language does he understand? Different kings from different parts of the world, they have different languages. What is the language of Waheguru? What language does he understand? And Sadguru Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji replied, Pakhya, his speech, his bodily, his language, Pao, apar. Apar means limitless. Pao means, first translation of Pao means the amounts. Pakhya Pao, apar. In Punjabi we'd say he's got limitless prakar of languages, speeches. Basically, his endless amounts of languages Waheguru understands. If we take that further, Pakhya Pao apar. The Siddhs, and then we could then ask, if he has unlimited amount of languages, which is the best language to use when we are speaking to Waheguru? And the language that we should use is Pakhya Pao apar. Pao, another meaning of Pao, or the second translation, is love. So the language that Waheguruji, the limitless apar Waheguruji understands, is the language of love. So through the language of love, we can reach Waheguruji and have the discussion of Waheguruji.
Aakhe mangahe dehe dehe daat kare daatar.
So what happens from there? Akhe, mangahe. Akhe means from our mouth. Mangahe, we ask. People of the world ask. Dehe dehe, give me, give me. Daat kare daatar. What do they ask for? They ask for different gifts, different blessings. Some people ask for materialistic things. And Waheguruji daat kare daatar. Waheguruji gives those people who ask for materialistic things, he gives them those daats, those gifts. Some people, or before we came into this world, we may have asked for a human life. Akhe mangehe dehe dehe. So the first dehe means this body, this human body. So we're asking with our mouths for a human body. Please give it to us. Daat kare daatar. Sadguru Sahib Ji gave us this body as well because we asked for it. And then further to that, if we want to take this further, some people ask for Waheguruji's darshan, Sikhi di daat, just like that Sikh asked Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, Akhe mangehe dehe dehe. So they ask for those things. And daat kare daatar. And Sadguru Sahib Ji, Akal Purkh Waheguru, gives those things as well. So Sadguru Sahib Ji quenches all our thirst. Whatever we ask for, whether it be materialistic all the way to spiritual, Sadguru Sahib Ji, Akal Purkh Waheguru, gives us absolutely everything. Now if we think about these lines or these panktiyan again, we can think of a spiritual message. What's the message to us? Sacha Sahib, Sach Nai, Pakhya Pao apar. How do we attain Sacha Sahib, who is Waheguru? How do we become one with Waheguru? Through Sach Nai, the true name. What's the true name? The true name is Mool Mantar Waheguru, or Mool Mantar, Ik Oankar Nanak Hosi Pi Sach, or it's Gurbani, Ik Oankar Tu 18 hai 10 20. In this form of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, 1430 angs. How do we obtain Sacha Sahib, the true king, the true master? Through the Sachanai, through the true name, the true word, which is Gurbani. How do we recite that Gurbani? Pakhya Pao apar. Pakhya Pao, through loving speech, through the love. When we speak that Gurbani, we will attain that limitless apar Waheguru. Then when we start reciting that name, or we start reading Gurbani, Akhe mangehe dehe dehe, we will realize what we're doing on this world. We will realize that this is the last or the greatest life form in the 8.4 million lives, and we'll understand that through the teachings or through the gyan, the knowledge we will gain by repeating that name. So we will start through our mouth, Akhe Mangehe. We will ask Waheguru Ji to give us Dehe Dehe. We'll ask Waheguru Ji to give us that Daat of Naam, so we can see Waheguru Ji in everybody, so we can gain liberation, so we can become one with God. And because we will do those good deeds, Sadhguru Sahib Ji will Daat Kare Daatar. They will give us that Daat, they will give us that blessing, they will give us those gifts. So, although this was a discussion with the Siddhs, for ourselves when we read this, we can take this message away.
ਫੇਰ ਕੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਰੱਖੀਐ ਜਿਤ ਦਿਸੈ ਦਰਬਾਰ
Fair ke agga rakhiya. Fair, the Siddhs asked Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, fair, then ke agga rakhiya. If Waheguru Ji is the truth, is the true master, the true king, he has a true name, fair, then ke agga rakhiya. What should we put in front of them? Jit disai darbar, whenever we see their darbar, the translation of darbar is saroop, when we see their form. So what should we put in front of them when we see their form? Or darbar can even mean the court of Waheguru. When we go into that court, what should we put in front of them? Fair ke agga rakhiya, jit disai darbar, when we see their saroop, what should we put in front of them?
ਮੁਹਾਉ ਕੇ ਬੋਲਨ ਬੋਲੀਐ ਜਿਤ ਸੁਣ ਧਰੇ ਪਿਆਰ
Muhauf, with our mouths, ke bolan boliya. What shall we speak? Jit sun tare pyar. What shall we speak with our mouths for them? So for them, when they hear us, they will love us. They will be happy with us. What shall we speak?
ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਵੇਲਾ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਉ ਵਡਿਆਈ ਵਿਚਾਰ
And Sadguru Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji replied to the Siddhs, Amrit Vela Sach Now, Vadeyai Vichar. Amrit Vela is the time just before the sun rises. In the old timing system, it's the first peher or the before sun rises. So it's the last peher of the night. One peher is 3 hours. So it's the first 3 hours before the sun rises. That is what we call or we describe as Amrit Vela. Vadeyai Vichar. Vadeyai basically means the glories. Vichar, where we contemplate on the glories. So Amrit Vela is the time to contemplate on the glories of Waheguru. Why is Amrit Vela so important? Well, if we can describe it for us to understand easily, if you imagine Waheguru has a shop, let's say, and they open their shop and they're giving free gifts out. A person who wakes up at the starting point of that Amrit Vela, they will be first to arrive at that shop. So they will have the choice of any gift they want because the shop will be full. As time goes through the night towards the sunrise, those gifts will be taken away by Gursikhs who wake up and start contemplating and singing the praises and the glories of Waheguru. And so those Sikhs who then wake up after Amrit Vela, when they reach that shop, there's not going to be many gifts left. In some days there may not be any gifts left, because the Gursikhs who wake up in those early hours of the morning, the last peher of the night, they will have taken all those gifts, they will have taken all those blessings, or they will have taken the greatest blessings, because Waheguruji's power doesn't end. Waheguruji's gifts are endless, but we don't take the greatest gifts. Waheguruji will give us, as they've said, Daat Kare Daatar, they'll still give us gifts, but maybe the best gifts will be taken away. So for a Gursikh, whatever we want, if we want our prayers answered, the best time to get them answered, as Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji just explained, is at Amrit Vela. That's where we recite the Sach Now, the true name, and we Vadeyai Vichar, we contemplate on the glories of Waheguru. Now, Amrit Vela can be very difficult to achieve that every single day. So if we take this further spiritually, Amrit Vela can also be described as this life. We are the Amrit Vela, we are at the pinnacle of the end of going through these 8.4 million lives. So this Vela, this time in this human form, is an Amrita Vela for us. It is the time where we've got the chance to sing those glories of Waheguru. Because in the previous life forms, we may have been different. We may have been different animals. We wouldn't have the chance, we wouldn't be able to speak, we wouldn't be able to partake in the Saad sangat. And so we don't get that chance. So this life is Amrita Vela as well. And then if we take that further again, those of us who are young, who are still kids within this life, that is our Amrita Vela. Because we've got an opportunity before we've got jobs, before we get married, before we extend our families, we've got a chance, free of mind, to think about Waheguru, to contemplate Waheguru's glories. So for that can be an Amrita Vela. So we have an opportunity there as well. Taking that even further, Amrita Vela is the Saad sangat. Because when we come into the Saad sangat, we remember Waheguru, we got that chance to contemplate the glories and repeat that true name. So the Saad sangat, like we gathered here today, that is the Amrita Vela. Because we're remembering, we're singing the glories of Waheguruji. Now, coming to the Saad sangat, how can that be an Amrita Vela? How can that be so special? Well, Bhai Gurdas Ji, or Bhai Gurdas Ji, a Sikh of the times of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, the first scribe of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. In their works, in Bhai Gurdas Ji Amara, they describe the effects of the Saad sangat, and they describe using metals. Now, those of us that are into science know that if you mix copper with certain metals, you get different types of metals. There's one element which is called the Philosopher's Stone. Some people think it's actually a legend. That if we just take the meaning of that Philosopher's Stone, if you mix copper with the Philosopher's Stone, you will get gold. That is the effect of the Saad sangat. Because if we take the Saad sangat and Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji as being the Philosopher's Stone, if we come into this Saad sangat, we as copper, let's say, with all our bad actions collected, we mix ourselves in that Philosopher's Stone, we can become like gold. We can become one with God. So coming into the Saad sangat is an Amrita Vela, because we get the chance to repeat the true name and we get the chance to sing the glories of Waheguru. And then finally, taking it further, in Kaljog is Amrita Vela, because this is the final age, and in this age, the 10 Gurus came down, and in the form of the 10th Guru, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, in the form of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji, gave us all Khande Bate da Amrit. And so this is the Vela, this is the time to take Khande Bate da Amrit in Kaljug, because that is the way that we will be liberated through the true Guru, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, who is the embodiment of Akal Purkh Waheguru. So even if we can't reach and we can't wake up in those ambrosial hours of the morning, depending on our spiritual stage, there are many different Amrita Velas we can achieve. And once we start achieving one, we can develop onto the other ones, and we can expand and hopefully pray and ask Waheguru Ji, Akhe Mangehe Dehe Dehe, that Waheguru Ji give us the blessing of the true Amrita Vela, which is the ambrosial hours, and remembering you every second with every breath, because then that becomes an Amrita Vela. Every breath becomes an Amrita Vela. And then Waheguru Sahib Ji will give us that blessing, Daat Kare Daatar. We will be given that blessing also, and we've got the chance to be liberated, to become one with Waheguru. So the Siddhs asked, whenever they see the form of Waheguru, what should they put in front of them? What should they speak with their mouth? And Sadguru Sahib Ji described Amrita Vela, Sach Now, Vadiyai Vichar. In the Amrita Vela, through all the forms I've just described, sing the Sach Now, the true name, and contemplate on the glories of Waheguru. Vadiyai Vichar.
Karmi Ava Kappada Nadari Mokh Dwar.
So Karmi Ava Kappada. We've understood in the previous bodies how our karam are linked to the hukam of Waheguru. Karmi Ava Kappada. Through our actions, Ava Kappada. Kappada, this body that can be described as a kappada, that where our soul is given when we come into this world. Karmi Ava Kappada. Depending on which type of karams we do, what type of actions we do, that's the type of kappada we are given. That's the type of life we are given. If we do Nishkam Karam, that's Nishkam, Kam means a desire, Nish means without desire. If we do actions without any desires, without asking for anything, and live in the para, in that hukam, in that command of Waheguru, then we will be given the kapda of a poor and Gursikh. Our life will be take that shape and take that form. We will remember Waheguru with every breath. We will serve his creation. We will attain liberation and become one with Waheguru. If we do actions which are sakam karam, for desires, we will have the kapda in that form. Because Guruji in the previous pankti and the previous lines of this pori have described, I'm repeating this over and over, Akhe mangehe dehe de daat kare datar. Whatever we ask for, Waheguruji always gives us. But we link it to this, karmi ave kapda. Depending on what actions we do, we are given that type of kapda, that type of body, that type of life, and that's what we have to live with this in this world. Nadri mokh duar. Nadri is like a glance, a blessing through the glance of Waheguru. We will achieve mokh duar. Duar is door, mokh is liberation. So depending on the actions we have done in our past lives and the actions we do now, we will be given that type of body to live with, that kapda. That will be the way we live our lives. And if we do nishkam karam, we will be blessed. Nadri, he will bless us with his glance and give us and take us to the gate, to the door of liberation. Nadri mokh dwar.
ਨਾਨਕ ਏਵੈ ਜਾਣੀਐ ਸਭ ਆਪੇ ਸਚਿਆਰ.
Sadguru Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji is telling us, Eva janiya, know this, sab ape satyar, that Waheguru is satyar. That's what describes Waheguru in this part. Ape satyar, sab is all of us, all his creation. Within all of his creation, Waheguru Ji exists. So Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji is telling us this at the end, that Waheguru exists in all of his creation, and through all of his creation we can attain satyar, we can become one with Waheguru Ji. So this week the Siddhs asked Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji about how they run their kingdom, how they run this world, how they run their creation. And Sadguru Sahib Ji has described how Waheguru Ji is the true king. He has a true name because he lasts forever. He's infinite, limitless. And through, again, reminding us through our actions and through his blessings, we can gain anything we want. It depends what we ask for. If we ask for spiritual things, we will gain liberation. If we ask for materialistic things, he'll give us those as well. But then we'll be caught up in the 8.4 million lives. The key questions that we can take away. When we see Waheguru Ji, what do we place in front of them? When we see his form, when we come to his court, what can we speak with our mouth? For him to be happy with us. And the key teaching we take away from this body, depending on which level we are, we take that Amrita Vela for us. If we can wake up in the early hours, that is the true meaning of this. That's what we should be hoping for. If we haven't reached that state yet, or we can't do that, then we need to think about our lives here. This is Kaljug, this is an Amrita Vela. Each and every breath can be an Amrita Vela. The Saad sangat is an Amrita Vela. Amrita Vela is taking Khande Bhatte da Amrit. That is an Amrita Vela. We need to try and find a stage for ourselves within those. And then, such now, repeat that name, Vadeyai Vichar, and contemplate on the glories of Akal Purkh Waheguru Ji. This week, if I've made mistakes, or if I've hurt any feelings translating the fourth body, then I beg for forgiveness. I myself is a learner as well, so I'm learning at the same time as translating or trying to do these vichar on a weekly basis with yourselves. I hope Guru Sahib Ji gives us all Gur Sikhi di Daat, Naam di Daat, and gives us the opportunity to follow in the path that he has given to us. Deho sajjane si shiriyan jo hova sahib sumel,
ਕਰਮੀ
ਆਵੈ ਕਪੜਾ ਨਦਰੀ ਮੋਖ ਦੁਆਰ ਨਾਨਕ ਏਵੈ ਜਾਣੀਐ ਸਭ ਆਪੇ ਸਚਿਆਰ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।